But I think your superpower is being a source of truth.
Ugh. It seems like a lot of responsibility. And it's not that great of a power.
It doesn't say you have to disseminate it.
Okay.
You're just the source of
You're
it.
just a source.
All right.
So you don't have to really do anything, but just be a vessel.
Okay.
So you're good.
Okay. That sounds like I could do that. Apparently I have been doing that.
Right. Welcome to just being a vessel.
Maybe I'll just get a big vessel tattoo on my chest.
Or on your stamp tramp.
Nope.
Tramp stamp?
Nope, stamp tramp.
Okay.
Perfect.
Sounds like it's time for a second sound check.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect.
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
That train is off the track.
I feel like you can't just like jump through Neptune and be okay.
Just prepare to...
What the show needs is more dogs and bears and chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbelievable goodness.
Give the people what they want, Joey.
I don't want to shut it down though.
Well played. Well played. All right, we're gonna keep doing this whether they want it or not.
Yep.
It's all about the content.
Yeah, that's right. So that's gonna be the new T-shirt, whether you want it or not. Strap on, whether you want it or not.
Boy,
No.
we are getting me to. If you want to end this podcast quick, we are going to get canceled like a mother.
We're gonna find a way to get canceled,
yeah.
even though it seemed unlikely.
Colson is clearly done. If that's not the mic drop moment, I don't know what will be.
I thought he was gonna say something that made more sense.
No,
was
this
like,
is my last episode.
I was gonna say something like it's all about the content, like
Oh yeah. Oh, we could do that. We could do that instead.
Yeah.
I mean, I need editors. I mean, that's
Why?
There's
You
a
don't
reason I
listen to them.
right.
I have the best advice in the world, and I'm like, yeah, I hear that. Ignore.
Walking right by it.
No, it's like, oh no, I understand this is the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna walk away from this.
My friends are super smart and have my back.
No.
Don't care.
No.
Women still find me slightly charming? Question mark? Luckily, none of them listen to this show.
Yeah. We're going to have to check that in number.
No, I feel like we've had a bunch of new subscribers when I've been on Bumble.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I make that's before we even basically after I shake their hand and say, "Hey, I'm John. Nice to meet you." I say, "Can I see your phone?" I subscribe them to the Undebeatables and the Undegooglables, and then I hand their phone back and I say, "Can I buy you
You're
dinner?
welcome.
Would you like to have some dinner?"
I'm gonna let you take a dent out of my net worth. Here we go. Let's have dinner.
That's right. Yes. Can I pay $100 for this to be awkward? Yeah. It's like, I'm telling you, Bumble is really helping our numbers. Buzz, full of suckers.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You were listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. This is episode 572. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials and former season ticket holder. Shout out, COVID. This show, we're going to discuss the All-Star selections. We're going to talk about the direction we think the franchise should be heading. We've got a stat of the week for you, of course, and an Undegooglable if we got the time. Joining us this show are two of our three analysts, still coast to coast, like buttered toast. First from Asheville, North Carolina. He's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks and the crappy jingles. John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What's up, fellow Undebeatables? It's Thirsty Thursday. Drink up.
And from Boise, Idaho, out west, it's our enforcer, John Harper.
What is going on, fellas? I am shouting out MIT this week.
Shout out.
This week, it was made known that they figured out how to do what was previously thought impossible, namely create a two-dimensional polymer. What that means for you is that they made a substance that's like twice as strong as steel at a sixth of the density. And it can apparently be manufactured in large quantities as well.
For cheap, I'm guessing, from the way you're talking about
That's what they seem to think, which is pretty rad. So think a plastic that's 4 to 6 times stronger than bulletproof glass, or twice as strong as steel.
Whoa.
Man.
And this is what we're going to make the robots out of that take over the world, right?
This is what the robots are going to make themselves out of.
Sweet.
Yeah. Also impermeable to gases. Yeah.
Ooh.
So this thing is, this is a real game changer. So
Holy crap.
yeah, pretty cool.
Shout out.
You heard it
Pretty
here
cool.
first?
No,
done.
no, you didn't. You heard it first in science, probably, but
I mean, I heard it here first.
okay, fair enough.
Right.
That's factually accurate.
I didn't know this was a thing. Also, I mean, I know that a lot of our listeners read Science Magazine religiously, but
I love that sentence so much. Also, Colson, do you think that what you just heard was considered a peer review by you?
It's not officially peer reviewed until you have a stamp trap.
So, before we get into the show, I would like to remind you, if you want to support us,
is this not the show? What are we doing here, Joe?
we are the longest running Pacers podcast. And you can support us by
Because
heading over
they
to
won't turn us off. That's the only reason, Joe.
You can head over to patreon.com/undebeatables. That money I'm assuming is going to be used for our defense fund once the lawyers come after us for something.
Or lots of
Horrific.
ink for Colson. We'll see. Whichever
Yeah.
comes first.
Get them stamped up. So, talk about a little bit of basketball stuff as we're wont to do. The All-Star, we mentioned the last couple weeks, the All-Star selections were coming out, and I think they're fully revealed. Harper, do you have the list handy?
I do. The West Pool reserves are Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Karl Anthony Towns. I'd argue no big surprises at all out there. Those guys are all super deserving. So,
They're all real good, and it's kind of what we talked about.
yep. And Monty Williams will get to coach them. On the East, we have Jimmy Butler, Darius Garland, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, Jason Tatum, and Fred Van Vliet, to be coached by Eric Spoelstra. Those guys are all pretty darn good at basketball, so there is that. We'll likely also see some replacements here at some point. It may be that guys are too injured for this game, so that may not be the final list, but those are the guys who were named.
Well, we definitely know for sure that Kevin Durant is not going to play, right? So there will be at least one replacement for sure. You're right. There's a lot of guys that might be a little banged up, but that's definitely out.
And, when you're on your dozen All-Star games, don't risk an injury.
Right, for sure. It's interesting the Eastern reserves. The forwards, the big men, are Jimmy Butler, Chris Middleton, and Jason Tatum. Right. I mean, this is it's a wing and guard heavy reserve pool. We had speculated whether Domantas Sabonis had a chance at this one. Joey, how do you feel about him not making this list?
I mean, he's had a fantastic season. I think the legit knock on him is that you could say he's been on a team that is not won games, which he's done. He's carried, I think, his load. He held up his end of the bargain for the team, but the team is just not winning. So it's hard to say he's not had a season that deserves it. It's also hard to say any of the guys out there. I mean, except for Chris Paul, but he's on the West. So in the East, there's been none of those guys are you can say shouldn't be there.
I agree with you. I think Chris Middleton was a surprise for me. He's the Bucks have kind of underachieved compared to where we thought they might be, and Chris Middleton has had a fine season, but I thought it might go to somebody else like Jared Allen or Domantas Sabonis. Now, granted, there's still at least one injury replacement out there, but that was the one name that surprised me.
I mean, first off, congratulations to Garland and Van Vliet, their first All-Star games. So
yeah,
good on them. Very exciting for them and their fan bases. Chris has been there 3 times now.
Yeah.
They're a game out of first place in the East. So I know that you want that team to win 60, but
yeah, I thought they'd be running away with the East this year.
The East is a competitive place, so a game out of first bunched up with 5 other teams is just fine. I wouldn't go as far as to call it a surprise. He's a good player. 19, 5 and 5.
Well, and the thing
deep,
is I've been criticizing him for probably most of the time that we've been doing this podcast. I always thought he wasn't good enough to be the second or third banana, and he won a title, and he has been that guy, and he's gotten better and better every year. And so I want to give him his due. Yes, he's deserving All-Star. I just didn't expect it this year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and thank you for undervaluing him because it really helped out my fantasy squads.
It definitely did. It definitely did. I definitely let you draft him over me. For like a couple extra dollars.
And you probably talk trash after he made the pick.
I was like, oh, really? Just spent $13 on Chris Middleton? Good for you, buddy.
Well, the good news...
that was an impression of myself.
Yeah.
Nice. It's,
Thank you.
Way less kind than my impression of you, but do you?
I thought you nailed it.
Well, if history holds true, Kevin Durant should be replaced by his understudy, Domantas Sabonis. It's exactly what happened last year.
Okay.
I do think that Domantas makes an awfully good case for himself. Obviously, the team isn't doing well, but his numbers are great. Our team is abysmal when he's not out there.
Right.
And I would love to see him get
12 and 5, shooting 57%, something like that. Absolutely ridiculous.
The only guy with numbers like that are Jokic, right? Yeah. And he was voted onto the team, so right. that tells you the kind of year that Domantas Sabonis is having statistically.
Do you? I think we talked about this last week. Do you feel like if the commissioner has to pick a replacement, that he might go with the hometown hero because the All-Star game is in Cleveland? He might pick the Jared Allen guy over a Sabonis on a losing team, or do you think it's just he's gonna? Not the commissioner. The guys that watch the tape for him or whoever. What's going to be the most political versus what makes sense for this team?
Yeah, I tend to think that that's not how decisions get made. That would be a pretty flawed organization if that's the kind of thinking that you went in there with. Why bother watching the tape if you were just going to say, oh, this guy's from Cleveland, let's just name him to the team? What's the point of any decision-making process at that point, right? So, I think that he'll get a fair shake. Jared Allen, in his defense, has had a great season. He's a very good player as well.
He's fantastic, right? I don't think he's undeserving if he does get named.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that Sabonis is out with injury now, even if, even if we get him out there, is he going to play in the All-Star game? Who knows? So it's smart money right now, maybe on Allen for that reason, if no other.
Or you pick Sabonis, and then he's a scratch because of injury, and then you get to pick Allen as well. Then you get 14,
Just start picking every
everybody's-
injured player in the league so everybody gets an All-Star nod.
That's right.
Devalue the All-Star game selections.
It's just going to be
There's like 20
participation
All-Star
trophies.
picks this year.
There's participation trophies for everybody.
Yeah, you could sign me up for the All-Star game, and I can't play just because I'm not in the league.
Because I'm, 40 and not athletic,
I am. Still play sports
Yeah, above the rim for sure.
on a toddler-sized basketball hoop.
He can jump out of the kitchen.
Oh man! All right. Any other All-Star? No other snubs out there? You think? Right?
No, I thought this is actually
did pretty
really
well.
well done this
They
year.
did pretty well.
Yeah, I feel really good. I don't think there's a lot of big controversy on either side.
No Kyrie, right? I wasn't.
Yeah, no. If he was on there, I would have smashed my computer and I'd never be able to do a podcast again.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah, James Harden made it so they didn't have to entertain Kyrie.
Thank you.
I wasn't really excited about that pick, but I get it. He's amazing, and he stops on a quarter. That's a throwback for last week. Check it out, fans.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
a deep cut.
statistically, he arguably has the best numbers out of anybody at 22, 10, and 8, besides Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So
I just hate the beard, man.
he's good at basketballs.
Yeah. I'm gonna cry my way out of Brooklyn. No, I'm just gonna be bad at my job.
He's, again, not bad at his job. 22, 10, and 8.
Yeah, but
10-time All-Star, 7 times
in
All-NBA.
Houston, he was averaging 30, 12, and 9 or whatever. So
It was a different scenario, different role.
Yeah. Also, I mean, have you seen the other dudes on that team? Was he supposed to be winning chips with those guys?
no, without a doubt. I agree that Kevin Durant's very good and would change the way that you would play. I agree with that. Yes. Okay, you're fine. I'm making a
His
terrible
job in
point.
Houston was to get 30, 10, and 10 and, be a middling to okay team.
Keep people in the seats.
But the point I want to make is that he cried his way out of that situation to get on a team with Kevin Durant and then is a slightly awkward fit. That's what I'd like to.
I don't feel bad for him.
No, what did we decide that he's made $300 million over his career or something? Yeah, I don't feel bad for him.
He's fine.
No. Yeah.
I mean, he's a little bitch, but he's fine.
All right.
Hey, Harden. You want to come at me? Come at me. I'm not afraid.
Yeah.
I'm
You'd
at
be
John Cole or something on Twitter, I think.
Yeah.
Just come at me. Let's do this.
I'd pay money for that.
Ooh,
So much
boy,
money.
for the shortest fight you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
For my head to cave in within 2 seconds, you would pay for that? Thanks, buddy.
No, I'm calling the under on 2 seconds.
The under. I mean, I'd probably do a lot of running. It might take a while. A lot of dodging and weaving.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take him very long to catch you, bud.
I'm not gonna stand there and just wait for him to hit me. I'm saying it might take longer than 2 seconds. I'm saying.
So you're gonna make him trip you from behind. That's how this is gonna work.
Yeah. So we're gonna meet at high noon for the the match, and then I'm gonna immediately turn and run.
Yeah, he's gonna know that that's your plan, and he's gonna be, by the time you turn around, he's gonna be in front of you on the other side.
yeah.
I'm not worried about it.
If you get a 50-yard head start, he'll catch you in 100 yards.
What if I show up with the MIT armor?
I mean,
I'll take the over then.
He won't be able to smash my face in.
it'll keep your brains inside your head.
Yay!
They will be scrambled.
Yes.
They will stay
They'll
inside.
still be
be
inside my
mush.
head.
Right. Right.
Oh, I love scrambled brains.
Did you say scrambled?
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean,
With a
sometimes, sometimes I like them over easy or over medium, really. But scrambled's also fine.
I thought you said scrambled.
Scrambled?
Scramble.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite games. Scramble.
Scramble?
Yeah,
Like
with the tiles and stuff.
I'm not familiar. I know the when you play golf, there's a way to play the scramble, right?
Sure.
Like you just take the best shot, and everyone each stroke, and everyone shoots from there. It's a fun way
Sounds
to play.
like a golf thing.
Yeah.
Also sounds like an egg thing.
Yeah. Speaking of, I think we wanted to talk about the Pacers' direction. Speaking of scrambled,
Boy, that was a beautiful transition, Joey.
I was just trying to.
We set him up perfectly with.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We're putting the ball on the tee, and he's just knocking it out of the park.
Absolutely. Scrambled it out of the park. So we talked last show about the LeVert trade, and here's at the end of the day, what we got was what we gave away was a very productive part of our team, and what we got back was a person who does not play and some draft picks, and with Rubio's contract, essentially it's a way to open up the team to be able to spend more money later. So we gave away talent to get assets and hope for the future. I guess the question I want to ask to both of you guys is, what do you want to see for the rest of the season? We've seen some really fun, in fits and starts. We've seen some really fun play from some of the young guys. Like we talked about Sabonis. I mean, this guy's throwing up triple doubles. He's, all-star caliber season again. Look, I just want to see alley-oops. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe do you have a deeper thought on that, Harper, on where the organization should be going, and should more trades for assets, or what are you looking for?
Well, Herb Simon made pretty clear that he did not want this team to be tanking. So there's that. I would argue that by that logic, Domantas Sabonis should be untouchable. He should be the piece that we're building around. The second that we part ways with him, I don't know what else to call this if we trade Domantas Sabonis other than overt tanking, because at that point we're left with, Duarte is our highest upside player at that point. That's a problem. That said, obviously we're not going to be competitive this season. The playoffs are a dim memory, any hopes of them. So the rest of the year becomes trying to build up the talent that we do have and deciding who can be a real piece for us going forward. And that's really Rick Carlisle's job, right? He's got to go out there, put guys in positions to succeed, see who can do well, see who can lead, see who can maybe close some games for us at some point. We'll see.
God, I don't envy that task.
Yeah, it's going to be a big lift. But you got to admit, I'm surprised by the level of talent that we actually had in the wings and how well some of these guys have been playing. You got to think Isaiah Jackson is pretty safe going forward. Chris Duarte is going to get a lot of burn this season, which is going to be great for his prospects going forward. Terry Taylor has been just a revelation. I mean, the best numbers in the first 7 games of career since like 82 or something. I mean, the kid's just been fantastic. Now, whether he can keep that up in the NBA as guys start actually looking at film on him is a whole other thing. But most of the rest of the season is really about talent evaluation and figuring out what we can keep and how to build, in my mind, how to build this team most effectively around Domantas Sabonis going forward.
I don't think you're wrong. I think, by the time this pod comes out, we're going to be, at the trade deadline or a day?
It's the day this comes out.
Okay, the day this comes out. So you may listen to this in the morning, and by the evening, all of this has changed. But there's a real chance that other guys on this team are going to get moved. There was wild speculation from Bill Simmons was trying to trade Domantas Sabonis for Steven Adams and a bunch of draft picks on Memphis because he thinks that Memphis's main problem is they can't play half-court offense. They're great at defense, they're great at transition, but they need a half-court offensive cog, and that Sabonis solves that. Steven Adams has 2 years left on his deal, but you could get 2 or 3 draft picks out of it. Is that something that we're willing to do? If we are doing that, then we are definitely tanking, right? I'm with you, Harper. The moment you move Domantas Sabonis, you're like, hey, we're just turning this over, right? Because we got nothing out of Karis LeVert. Not nothing, but it was an expired.
You really like that trade 30 minutes ago when we recorded the Monday
but what
show.
I'm saying is it's not an ass. I mean, it's assets, but it's not an actual human body you can put on the floor, right? I mean, we basically got worse to get better, right? You lose, Ricky Rubio is not going to be playing for us.
So you're looking for human bodies, right? Is that what you're saying?
Human bodies. Human bodies are a thing in trades if you want to stay competitive. If you want to tank, then you trade things for not human bodies.
Yeah, I mean, there would be some middle ground there. I mean, the reality is we're not competitive whether we want to be or not. We would love to be competitive. The reality is we're not.
Yeah, we're really not. I do like the idea. I've been very pleased by Isaiah Jackson, aka Knight Rider. I've been really excited about Terry Taylor, aka Birdhouse. I love Quis Duarte, aka 8-Track. I love these guys. I also am really excited about Washington, aka Gummy Bear. But I think the problem is that these guys aren't starters in this league. I mean, and granted they're all rookies, but you're saying Harper, once they get some tape on Terry Taylor, he's not going to be able to do what he's doing. Well, if he's the 9th man, maybe he still can, but not if he's our starting power forward. Right now he's our starting power. Right, I know. But I think Washington, again, if he's our 9th man, could still take. He's not afraid to shoot, and he can hit a lot of threes, and he's fearless. He can still be an impact player, but not if he's your starting 2. Right? These guys aren't good enough to be winning in the NBA. So let's get them lots of burn and make them all 9th men next year. Right? I'm fine with that. I love it.
How many 9th men are we going to need?
all the 9th men.
You also didn't mention our new pickup Reggie Perry. You didn't mention him at all in this conversation.
I didn't because I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, he played 9 minutes a couple games ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that. Oh, the other story. So the 2 stories are, we traded Karis LeVert for nothing, and then we also re-signed Lance Stevenson for the rest of the season. Lance Stevenson is solidified in my top 5. He's now here for the whole season. If he was going to be just on 10-day contracts, he might have fallen out. But make him dance, Lance.
What does it mean to be solidified on a fluid list?
Not really much. It means probably for the rest of the season he's in the top 5, but after that, who knows?
Also, this should be a boon for him that he signed so many contracts. This is like the 5th Pacers contract he signed just this season.
Just this season. That's right. Yeah, fair enough.
So shout out Lance.
Welcome back. Play the air guitar for me.
He's gonna get a cramp in that hand from signing all those contracts.
I'm telling you.
Also, I think I mentioned this last week, but shout out again because, with all of these injuries, Justin Holiday has really emerged as the leader of this locker room, and I feel like he's a guy that I trust. I like this guy. He last week won some games for us. Won a game for us. Being we don't win games very often.
Well, careful with that plural.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Just being the consummate professional, hitting a bunch of threes and making plays down the stretch. He plays defense. He seems to be the guy that pulls the guys aside and talks to them. I just I think this is a guy you'd like to have around for a while. He's just a legitimate veteran who's doing the right things on a team with suddenly a bunch of 20-year-olds.
Yeah, I think that having Justin Holiday is nice and just it's nice when you have leaders. If there's people like them, it'd be nice to have. If he had any siblings, it'd be nice to have them on the team.
It would be nice,
man.
especially if they were young, like guy who developed
and
with some upside.
like fearless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
had like
That'd be
big
great.
game experience, like to
Yeah.
hit the big shots.
We should really look into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there couldn't
What
possibly be more holidays in the league. I mean,
right. Okay, so a real quick question: do you guys, by the time that this show comes out, these will probably be answered. But do you think you said Harper that Herb Simon is not interested in tanking? This
That's what
Karis
he
LeVert
said.
trade was right. This Karis LeVert trade, the Viceroy trade was very clearly about tanking. Do you think that the other names mentioned, the Miles Turner, the Domantas Sabonis, and you've got to think maybe a Holiday or a, I mean, I think everybody's on the block at this point, outside of Brogdon, who can't be traded, and our rookies. Do you think we're going to start trading them for more draft picks, or do you think we're going to try to bring an asset back to try to like paper over the fact that we just traded Karis LeVert away for draft picks?
right. So I don't think that it's the same thing to trade Karis LeVert. That's not necessarily a tanking move. I mean, what's the point of holding the guy hostage when he can go help another team, right?
Sure.
What we're doing is getting an expired contract and saving our owner money. So presumably that's something that he's probably a fan of.
He was fine with.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think Herb probably likes money. That said, obviously any picks or any trades that we make have got to be tuned towards young talent or draft picks, right? I mean, if you're trading LeVert and then you go back and get a veteran at the end of his career in the next trade, that's going to leave a lot of people scratching their heads, probably including Herb Simon, right? So
Fair enough.
Well, I think that's yeah. One last thing I want to say about this is I know Simon said that, and I believe that he does not want to be seen as tanking, but it's just words, baby.
Semantics.
You say one thing, you say something, and then you may do the thing that you say, or you may not, but you're on record of saying that at least. So,
I mean, he's getting older. Don't you think he wants to win a title before he dies? For sure. He's put all this time and money into this thing. Like, tanking right now is not probably real exciting to him. But he's not going to win a title this year regardless, so.
right. I mean, and I will say, like, even, freeing up that money at the end of the, it gives you the option to spend it again, to try and lure whomever, in the off season. After Rubio's contract expires,
We don't lure anybody here, man.
we lured David West. Who just because it's been so long, people forget that.
Oh, we also lured Monte Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
We did that.
he
We're still paying that
got
guy,
it
right?
all.
Yeah, we're still paying him.
He got all our money.
All right. Well, I'm just excited. I want to see the development of the young guys, and I want to see some alley-oops. I think I've made that clear.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure our guys get the lobs in there for those alley-oops.
So we got
And I'm
Sykes, we got Washington, we got Duarte. They're just throwing alley-oops to Taylor and Isaiah Jackson. That's all you want to say. That's all that
I
matters.
want to see Washington hitting some threes.
Okay.
I want to see Brissett
Ooh,
with his.
a little sauce action?
I want to see some Brissett crashing the rim. I think he's had a couple things that had he landed those would have been, legendary. Crashing the boards and.
I really like his activity around the
Yeah.
rim. I really do. I love the way he cuts to the basket. Yeah. I'm not seeing a lot of oops out of him, but I love his
No.
yeah.
I see some oops. They're called turnovers.
Shut up the sauce.
Oops. Anyway, I'm just.
Career low turnovers against the Magic. Or sorry, season low for the Pacers.
Oh, good.
We lost.
Or was it
but 8?
what was it 8? Oh, that's great.
That is great.
I'll take that.
L.
I'll take a win, but
Yeah.
I think it is time to take a break. Colson, you need to cool off a little bit, all right?
Was I wound up?
You're a little fired up. You're seeing red now. You probably can't. You can't tell, but go take a step outside.
Okay.
Cool off. Come back in the second half. I'm gonna give you a stat of the week of that. As a taxpayer, you're gonna be furious about.
Oh, so you're telling me to cool off to get more anxious and upset?
No, it's so you don't. So you're able to make it through the next.
So
the
don't
next
throw
step.
my computer.
Yeah, that seems to be the answer you're giving for a lot of things now. But,
Exactly. We got to take the temperature down because we know it's going to go up a little bit.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Well, let's take 5. Go do some deep breathing exercises,
That's
and we'll be back in just a few.
From the womb we were destined to lose. There's a loophole in the system that we never seem to use. I get confused when we're out selling rocks. Get confused when we're killed by cops. What's the meaning of it? What's the meaning behind treating us like dirt? Manipulating minds and tarnishing our worth. As if we asked to be a part of this plan. I can't apologize for the fail, but it wasn't your land to begin with. And now I'm off on a tangent, wishing I had written something different, but I didn't. So take heed to these words. My brothers and my sisters out creating a stir. We need each other in the long run, so stop hating on the progress that another one has done, because we'll never get ahead. Some are using God's name while they're killing all of us dead. I'll be there just to lift you up. Ain't nobody else gonna bring you down, no. Even when I'm not around, you are gonna get there alright. I'll be there just to lift you up, and ain't nobody else gonna bring you down. And even when I'm not around, you are gonna get there alright. I'm writing this verse because I know we're not perfect, but perfection's in the midst when it comes to your complexion. I know I didn't choose it, neither did you, but to claim it as your power reaches further than you. Why use scared tactics to disguise your own guilt for something you didn't do that your ancestors built? Guilty by association, taught to think that blacks are inferior is just an abomination. I can't help but to think of the ones we've lost, and the cost that most paid to the ones they've crossed. It's hatred in your heart, and it's love we fought to protect our own skin from the curse you brought. I'm only saying let us love, it's the difference we need. I'm not trying to show the negative, but truth as it seems. And you still don't see how the government schemes. While you're hating on us, they shatter your dreams. I'll be there just to lift you up, and ain't nobody else gonna bring you down, no.
We are back from the break. I'm going to start off the second half of the show here. My stat of the week.
Joey, stat of the week.
You know, and I've been, listen, this isn't something I came into the intent with coming back to this topic, but here it is again. You know, these stories keep coming across my news feed, and I keep getting mad. And again, it's about the United States Postal Service mail trucks. There we are again.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be the third one. The first one was because they kept catching on fire.
Right.
Which, I don't know, seems crappy. The second one was about how they're doing the redesign.
Yep. I was excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Duckmobiles.
Yeah,
The Duckmobile. They look very different. They look interesting. Well, here's the thing about the Duckmobile is it's just been announced they had a dump of some information about these ones. So it's going to be a mixed fleet. Some of them are going to be electric, and some of them are going to be conventional. By that I mean, gas guzzlers. And by gas guzzlers, I mean they're going to get 8.6 miles per gallon on a brand new thing, on a brand new mail truck. The old one's got 8.2 miles per gallon, and they were made in, I don't know, the 50s or something. Like they're old, like, Jeeps from the war. And now these new ones are going to hit 8.6 miles per gallon.
So, Joe, can you explain why this would happen? Why this would be even something that could be possible?
I don't know how they're I don't know how you'd find, you can't buy a vehicle like that. All the new vehicles have much more fuel efficient.
That wouldn't pass a transmission test in North Carolina.
Or the emissions, right?
Or the transmission test.
Right.
But yeah, the emission test.
I guess I don't want to speak for yeah.
I mean, I assume as a commercial vehicle, it would have different emissions.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Someone's gonna go do some crime. Anyway, I think it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, like, at the fleet this big, I mean, the impact is large. Like, on the for the cost of the fuel, plus the the world that we live in. It seems like it might be nicer to have something more fuel efficient, particularly when it's a large fleet like the
United States Postal Service. Yeah, that's fair. And why can't they all be electric? Don't we have Teslas and stuff now that drive themselves?
We do. I don't know.
Yeah,
They don't want to.
My curiosity is, I mean, I assume that the vehicle itself is inefficient, right? You could make it electric. It would still be hyper inefficient based on that information. We didn't just find the least efficient gas engine and put it in there, I'm assuming.
Well, okay, so we've got it's because it's a weird shaped truck and it's not aerodynamic. Like, what's the issue? Because it's got to carry all the letters. Like, why is it this? I mean, and the packages and the,
Yeah, I mean, it's a commercial vehicle. It's certainly not very aerodynamic. There's no two ways about that.
Right.
My suspicion is that you would do slightly better EV simply because it can turn itself on and off. Right? Like there's no on, right? It's just going or not going.
Right.
I assume that because of the nature of the vehicle, 8.6 miles per gallon is probably something approximating real world MPG versus, what you would get if you took it on a highway. I'm sure it would be fine, right? But that's just not what they do.
Right.
But are you really getting 20 miles per gallon on the highway?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, that would be my hope. Like I said, I mean, otherwise they would have had to go out and search for the least efficient engine they could find. Like, I just don't know.
Which might have been what they did. It sounds like maybe that's what they did.
I don't think that's what they did, but I don't know. I haven't read the article. I'd be interested to get some metrics because, I mean, certainly it doesn't seem great.
That doesn't seem great at all.
Well, and then part of the issue with this is that the contracts that are handed out, they need to be examined for environmental impact for these type of contracts by the government, and they just didn't do that. It's required by law. They just did not do that.
Cool.
So
they're breaking the law.
Breaking the law. But you know what? They're the Postal Service. They are the law. What are you going to do about it? They're going to buy between 50 and 160,000 of these when they come out. So,
of the inefficient ones?
I think of the total fleet, and that's they're saying around 10% would be the electric ones now. And the electric ones, I mean, you think with a just that it's inefficient in the first place, like even the battery ones, like they're not going to work in every scenario. Like in a rural mail delivery, like where they've got to cover a lot more ground, they're going to be less efficient there. The electric ones are going to be more suited towards higher density, more stopping. That's where they do better.
So okay, this reminds me of one of this pod's favorite movies, Armageddon. Doesn't the government have a bunch of people just sitting around and thinking shit up, and a bunch of other guys sitting around and thinking shit up after them? Like, how do we get here? Can't we make the mail trucks out of the MIT plastics, and it'd be super light and good for us?
We could, but here's the deal: is the government's not making these. They're buying. They're giving a contract.
This isn't a NASA project.
This is freaking lazy. Like, can I have where are my guys being like, we're giving to the lowest bidder and we're having the least efficient car we can get? Like, come on.
Also,
basically, everything is made by the lowest bidder, essentially.
Also, from that movie, you're sitting on top of a rocket made with 10 million moving parts made by the lowest bidder.
That's right. Shout out Armageddon.
I don't think that they authored that line, but it's a good one.
So, I mean, I just don't know how we get here. Except that we have a a ton of politicians that get paid to be bad at their jobs, and all they have to do is slough off and not show up, and we still pay them $200,000 a year. So, go America.
So yeah, I just want to end this on a quote from the EPA, which wrote about this, and they said quote, Postal Service chose not to consider in detail even a single feasible alternative to its proposal that would be more environmentally protective, evaluating only alternatives that the Postal Service itself considered to be infeasible, e.g. 100% BEVs given longer rural routes. So EPA not happy about this either. So we got a lot of infighting and a duckmobile. That's what we got.
I feel like this is the one thing that we used to be able to figure out how to do, is get people freaking mail.
We could put a man on the moon
and get people mail in the middle of nowhere. Like, we can do that.
We can.
But
the question is, at what cost?
How expensive is it going to be?
I mean, that's always been the question. Right? The USPS is an amazing institution. The idea that somehow if we privatized it, all these problems would go away has never quite made sense to me.
And in fact, it makes less and less sense.
I mean, given the tone of this article, I would argue that a private company would not be engaging in this sort of profligacy if it were left up to them. So this would certainly be an argument for privatization.
Fair enough. But I mean, you've got Amazon and the FedEx and UPS, still using the United States Postal Service to get stuff to unreachable points because it's an amazing entity.
Yeah, shout out Postal Service. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Shout out Postal Service.
51 cents?
Yeah.
Just send something anywhere.
Yeah, whatever you want. Actually, Joey, I'm gonna send you some good vibes. 51 cents coming your way.
Are you sending it through the Postal Service?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, you're coming here in like a day, so.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Just showing off.
Yeah.
No, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna talk shit and hope that arrives before I do. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
So when I show up, we can fight.
We could fight no matter what, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that.
Like I said, I'm going to run away and wear the MIT headgear.
Yeah. Joey and Harden coming after you.
Yeah, you wear that headgear, leaving your soft body wide open.
It's getting softer and softer, my friend.
All right, man. I think we should do an Undegooglable and then get the heck out of here.
Okay. I got a couple good ones for you. Oh, are we doing Undegooglables?
That was the plan.
Super excited.
You told us we had to, so.
He said we signed up for it.
In the end, it's going to be better and more true than Google can give you. The writing's on the wall. When do we think that came about? Why do we think that's a thing? What do we think it means? Era, meaning, as we do on this show, the writing is on the wall.
So the definition is, as I understand it, essentially it's that you can see the conditions are in a way that something is going to happen, right? That's sort of something's going to happen. You can tell what it is by
almost obvious. Right? Yeah. It's maybe predetermined, but also very clear that this is going to happen because the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
So my first thought would be graffiti, and the people who made that up, I think, were the ancient Greeks.
Okay. All right. So what were the ancient Greeks doing with graffiti? They were the same thing that we're still doing with graffiti?
Lots of dissent.
Yeah. Okay.
So, when you got a lot of people writing stuff publicly on walls, maybe at that point the conclusion becomes foregone.
Okay, so it's clear that the government's going to be overthrown, or
Somebody's
there's
on their
gonna
way
be
out, or
right. They're making clear their political dissent on the wall.
correct. Yeah, it was actually quite stable governance for the most part, but obviously democratic, so people were in and out often.
Now, so what form would that have taken back then? I mean, it's not a spray paint can, clearly. I mean, are we carving things with stone? Do we have paint? What are we doing?
People just lugging around paint cans.
Well, I think Krylon probably is the
Yeah,
one we would expect.
yeah,
You got to tag stuff, right? Like,
exactly.
I mean, I think you'd have paints in that area, I would believe, right?
Yeah, sure.
Or some
Yeah,
sort
for sure.
of paint like.
And that's how they made
Substance.
the Grecian urns and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Ode to a Grecian urn, or something like that.
Something like that. So do we think well, so that's graffiti. Do we think the phrase itself? So, I guess, do you think the phrase itself is from something similar to back then, or
Yeah,
or is
so
this-
he's going political protest back in Greece.
I'm going old school.
That's what Harper's going with.
okay? And you think the phrase itself is also like that old?
Sure.
Okay.
In Latin, Grecian, whatever the language is.
Yeah. Greek was a language.
I think Greek. Yeah, seems like
Grecian, then.
Yeah. They're quite prolific playwrights back then, so it may have made it in. I don't know. And modern English, I don't know. Probably.
Oh, we definitely interpreted all that stuff whenever, right?
Well, so that's the interesting thing, right? So we weren't able to understand ancient Greece or ancient Greek for quite some time. So it may have
fallen away and come
yeah,
back.
there may be other explanations here for sure.
Joey, what do you think? Writings on the wall. We're seeing this coming. We know it's about to happen. It's almost predetermined. It's very obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I like that for the graffiti. I mean, that's where you literally see writing on walls, and I think
So
that's
it's very
something-
literal, is what you're saying.
I mean, I think that I think that the root to me that does sound pretty literal. I mean, we see all sorts of stuff that not that I quibble with it, but just we definitely do see things, written on walls that are, not that we have not seen come to fruition. Like I've seen a lot of stuff in graffiti in like bar bathrooms that I don't think is true. I'm gonna say it.
Did I ever told you my favorite graffiti ever in a bar bathroom?
No.
This was at what was Cooter Brown's in New Orleans, and when you went to the bathroom, somebody had written, "My wife follows me everywhere," and this is in the men's bathroom, and then underneath somebody else wrote, "No, I don't." That's solid work by some drunk people. Yeah. So yeah, maybe that's all it's about then.
Don't want to guess Shakespeare or something.
Yeah, no. I think it's got to be a little bit separated from that. I think it's not that obvious. I don't think it's graffiti. I don't think it's people actually writing on walls. I think it's going to be a little bit different. And I think I'm going to say that it is science lab related. And there's a big whiteboard. And
So
the answer
literally
is
written
on the wall.
on the wall, just in a science lab.
In a science lab.
Okay.
And the answer is in there somewhere, but we don't see it yet.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
So you're going what time period?
I'm going with the 30s.
You think whiteboards were invented then?
They certainly have
chalkboards.
chalkboards. Yeah.
Chalkboards.
Yeah, chalkboards.
Okay.
chalkboard walls in the 1930s. That's what it was.
1930s. Okay.
More, okay, or it could be an overhead projector too. That could be the same
Sure,
function.
they definitely had that. Yeah. And the answer's there somewhere. We just don't have it. I think that makes the phrase slightly more interesting, right? It's like it's not so obvious that the writing's on the wall, even though the whole thing about the phrase is that it's obvious. So whatever. You're welcome, team. What do we got?
And I think it's another thing. It may be from Pink Floyd. It may be from there.
Yeah, sure. There you go.
Yeah. What about the Great Wall? What about Trump's Wall? I mean, these things could all be a part of this.
Well, the Great Wall was built. Trump's Wall wasn't. So.
Hey,
Probably
you know
didn't
what?
come from
I don't
there.
come to this basketball podcast to hear your politics, Joey.
It's not politics. It's just
Just the truth.
I mean, I don't know. They built like sections of it, but it's not functional.
All right. So, according to Idioms Online, this idiom comes from the biblical story of Belshazzar's feast, Daniel 5:5-31, in which, in the presence of the king, a disembodied hand appears and writes on the palace wall. The king, frightened, called for astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers, and offered rewards to whoever could interpret the writing.
And was anybody able to do it?
You haven't read that? Come on, Coles.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I guess I could pull out my Bible and check real fast.
Let's see. None of the wise men could read the message until the queen suggested he call Daniel, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, in whom the father's king, King Nebuchadnezzar, had become Belteshazzar.
And I'm seeing here that the phrase that was written was numbered, weighed, and they are divided. And Daniel interpreted that as pointing to the downfall of the Babylonian Empire.
According to the book of Daniel, it is a portent of doom. Cool.
Biblical.
So there's a disembodied hand? Is that what they went with?
It's the Bible.
Yeah. That's the most magical thing that happens in the Bible.
I mean, I'm just saying, if I was going to tell the story, I probably wouldn't make it I would just have the chalk right on the wall without a hand there.
Look, Harry Potter.
What? Look, the Bible is not. It's not an entertainment. It's.
I disagree.
Yeah, I completely disagree. Joey. This is the whole reason we for generations we sat around campfires and needed a story about our peoples. Entertain me, Joey. Make me okay. Look, you can teach me something, but I better be goddamn entertained.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazingly, it was considered entertainment. I've tried to read that thing. Boy.
Disembodied hand was the name of my masturbation in high school. I don't know.
Oh.
That didn't work.
Nope. Put that one right.
Let's see.
It didn't work?
Disembodied hand was the name of my girlfriend in high school. That's better.
God.
That's closer.
Ooh.
The audience can't see it, but I love it whenever you're on a bit, you get super close to the mic. I love it. I love it when I get to lean in. I know some greatness is about to happen.
And it's funny because that's when I lean away from my computer.
We're getting there.
Yeah, I'm finding a little bit of maybe an alternative one. It says we don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave them kids alone. And so that was from Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel 6. So it was the next.
Oh, Daniel 6. Okay.
Yeah, this is the next chapter. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
So the good news is we got the time period about right. We're talking, circa 540 BC-ish.
For sure. Yeah. Nice work, buddy. I think you nailed it.
Of course, it all got written down way later, but
Right. Well, That's the nature of the Bible.
But we'll say it's all exactly true, and that's how it happened, and we nailed it.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to Daniel 5. all the Daniels out there. Yeah. Daniel 5, and the other one I like is Johnny 5. I like that guy
Johnny
too.
5, yep.
Yeah. Shout out.
Is alive. That was not a very good impression of a robot.
Nope.
He's alive. No, that's not a good impression. That was my impression of a robot.
Harper, what's up with your boy?
Everybody's seen the classic Short Circuit from 1985.
It's getting loopy. It's late out there.
Yeah. There's an upside-down bottle of Loopy in his hand.
If only that was my excuse.
Yeah. Well, we will be back with you next week, Monday, talking about the previous week of Pacers basketball. Until then, you can find us on Twitter. We are at Undebeatables. We're on Facebook.com/The Undebeatables. Our website, theundebeatables.com. There's a contact form there. You can use that to send us a message. You can send us an email. Shout out at theundebeatables.com. And our website /store is where you can check out the merch of a t-shirt at this moment.
Nicely done, Joe.
Oh, I mean a single t-shirt.
Right.
Singular.
Hey, look, we got him in the queue.
Yep.
For the architect, Donnie Walsh, and our once and always Hall of Fame coach, Bobby Sickleonard, and for the disembodied hand, turn out the lights, the party's over. What are you doing later, Joey?
Okay.
That was the disembodied hand. That wasn't me. That was that.
Oh, so the hand can talk?
Oh, for sure.
Can all disembodied hands talk? Is that?
I mean, it could definitely write on walls. Why can't it talk? Come on, what you know? Where's your level of disbelief?
What makes it a disembodied hand when it can talk? Is my question.
It's like shadow puppet style.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that how it talks? Is it?
It's A, B, C, D.
It's ASL.
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
It's ASL. Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking shadow puppets, but that
sure.
works.
Because I heard actual
Whatever it
words
takes to
coming out of your
communicate.
face. That's what I thought I heard.
Well, no, yeah. I had to interpret for the disembodied hand for the listeners because this is a audio medium. I mean, everything the disembodied hand was doing visually, the people couldn't see. So I was just doing that for.
But you made no indication to the listener that you were using sign language. You were just.
I wasn't using sign language. It was the disembodied hand. I was just interpreting it.
This guy.
Well, thank you for, a solid top 5 creepiest outros that we've ever had. I do appreciate your commitment.
It took a hard turn.
Did it? Or was it always turning that direction?
I guess we should always just assume.
Just always assume it's going to get weird, Joey.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.